Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys for another show, but not for another episode of Tactical Breakdown, but the first in another new series in which we'll be going on into the new season. But I want to give you a bit of a feel about what this show is going to be. It's called, as you can see on the screen there, the Raw Reaction. Now, the Raw Reaction, I want to be a show in which I react to what is going to be at the moment the most recent news coming out of Arsenal, not necessarily breaking it down with the stats and the graphics like I had done before. Don't worry, that'll still be going on. Tactical Breakdowns will not be going away, believe me, they're still going to be around. But the Raw Reaction is going to be about me giving my personal feelings and my personal opinion, not sitting on the fence and telling you what I really think of things. And it's going to go out throughout the season. What I'd like to do is plan to have one after every game. So you get my thoughts, and obviously I can then read through your comments, because that's what the main whole building blocks of these shows is about, getting your opinion in the comment box, and so I can react and having discussions with you in the comment box, which has been going on over the recent few days. And the comments, as always, have been really positive and really helpful, and some really good chat been going on. So if you're starting to like these episodes, if you're liking the fact I'm going to be doing this Raw Reaction show, then give it a like. Please subscribe if you're new, and I hope you're enjoying the series, and we'll be back with plenty more of these as we go through the summer and into the new season, of course. So let's get straight into the video and talk about the two main focuses of this video. The first one is on Lucas Torreira. Now, Lucas Torreira has been linked with a move away to AC Milan. AC Milan, as we know, have got Ivan Gonzalez in their ranks, and also they've now got the former Sampdoria manager, Gianpaolo, who's going to be leading their team and managing their team in the coming seasons or so. And obviously he is the former manager of Lucas Torreira. Now, what's been reported in the media is that Lucas Torreira has wanted to be away from Arsenal. He doesn't supposedly like the English weather. I mean, who doesn't? And he wants to be back in Italy because that's where he prefers it. His girlfriend misses Italy as well. And that's all very good and very easy to then make these links between AC Milan and Arsenal. But what's been more worrying, I think, for Arsenal fans is we've been starting to see that he's been linked with a loan move with an obligation to buy at the end of it. And now we're being told that Arsenal are very much aware of these links, and we're being told that there's real contact between the clubs, but Arsenal are not entertaining anything supposedly to at least around 50 million. Now, that's not actually been said whether that's 50 million pounds or euros. I'm seeing conflicting reports across all different types of social media and from the media itself. But my thoughts on it are that if we are to let Lucas Torreira go, it would be one of the biggest mistakes and one of the biggest insults to us as fans, I feel, in the last 5 or 6 years. I could not get on board with a decision to let him go. And now I know that the reaction when I tweeted something out like that was, well, you can't keep an unhappy player at the club. I don't think Lucas Torreira is unhappy. I really don't. And so I'm not factoring that in, because it's been reported as well that the views of him being unhappy at Arsenal, he don't like the weather and all that, may be true, but he's happy at Arsenal, he's got a long contract, and he's happy to be at Arsenal playing in the Premier League. And so I'm not going to believe these silly comments about he's not happy and he wants to move because of the weather. That's pathetic. But if we sell him because we need to recoup funds, and I know this has been a pressing thing and we need to recoup funds if we want to buy into more players, but the whole reason that we want to buy into players is so that we can move on players we're not going to be using to bring in players that we will. Selling the likes of Mustafi, selling the likes of Mesut Ozil, selling the likes of Kolasinac. These players need to be moved on and improved upon. Kolasinac, hopefully with the likes of Kieran Tierney, that is happening over hopefully the coming days. When we hit July 1st, we'll hopefully be seeing some stuff happening. But to sell someone like Lucas Torreira to then bring in players makes no sense, because you need someone like Lucas Torreira to be the foundations. You don't rebuild a house by taking out the foundations. You rebuild it by using the foundations that are strong and the key element to then build up to a successful structure, which is what we need. And Lucas Torreira is one of the linchpins of this new Emery era, and that needs to be maintained in this team. Consistency, as well as rotation and improvement, is going to be key if we want this team to succeed. And by getting rid of Lucas Torreira just to recoup 50 odd million is not worth it. We already lost 50 million worth of player when we lost Aaron Ramsey. And whether that's down to the fact whether you think Aaron Ramsey is a great player or not, in this market, a British player on a long contract who's moved to the likes of Juventus would have been going for around 40 to 50 million pounds, and we lost him for free. So we can't start losing players that are of that same level and of that same importance to us, like Lucas Torreira, even if it is for that amount of money. Because what are you going to do with that 50 million? What are you going to spend it on? I did the video on Dani Ceballos yesterday, and there was a couple of links saying that we're more open to selling Torreira because it means we'd be able to sign Dani Ceballos. Now, don't get me wrong. Dani Ceballos is a great player, and if he was to play in Arsenal and to be given freedom, as I showed you in the video, he could do very well for us. But he's not going to replace what Torreira brings to us. I don't think he was able to get as many games on the pitch than he hoped to under Emery last season. I was hoping that this season, after becoming more familiar and more integrated, he'd see more minutes on the pitch. But you can't turn around and say, oh yeah, let's sell Torreira and bring in Dani Ceballos, because the impact that Torreira makes on the pitch is completely different to that of Ceballos. We've got players that can be more offensive in the midfield, but we don't have the players in the team that Torreira can do that for. We just simply don't. There's no other player that can do what Torreira does in this team. And so to get rid of him and to replace him reportedly with someone like Dani Ceballos, who I have great respect for, just doesn't make any sense. So to summarise that, it's absolutely ridiculous to even quantify the meaning behind trying to sell Lucas Torreira to recoup any amount of funds. It's stupid, it's silly, and I'm praying it won't happen. And to be honest, I don't think it will happen. If I was to put my money, man, I'm not really a betting man anymore. But if I was to put money on it, I think he will still be here come the end of the summer. And I think Arsenal should remain firm, because if they don't, there's going to be anarchy. And the second player I wanted to focus on is someone who I've already done a tactical breakdown on, which you can go and check out the link in the description for that if you want to find out more about William Saliba, what he's like, what he provides for the team, what he'll be doing when he joins. Is the news that we are supposedly getting very close to him, which is great. We're really going in with a €30 million fee for him. But there's two sides to this. One is that we have to then loan him back. And I don't really... I know why it's happening, because obviously Saint-Etienne have got into European football again. They want to maintain some of their key consistency moving into that competition, and they're squeezing out a lot. It's a great deal for them. Getting 30-odd million euros and the player to still play another season when he's a really, really good young talent is a really fantastic deal for a club like Saint-Etienne. Feeding us in the Premier League as always, which we much appreciate, but it's a great deal for them. But for us, we should have brought him in for this summer. And that feeds into the second point, is that if we've only got the restrictive budget that we're supposedly told we do, how on earth can we afford to spend 30 million euros on a player that we're not even going to use this season? I think he's a fantastic prospect, and I think from the video that I did on him and the tactical breakdown, you saw that he's got some fantastic quality to him. But if we're spending so much of our money on someone that's not going to play, either we're mental, or we have a lot more money than we're actually being told we do. And maybe with these links to Zaha that have been coming out, maybe that is true. Maybe we do have some more money. But still, the contrary reports are saying that it is only around £45 million budget. David Ornstein was the one that said that. And we haven't really seen, other than Torreira, anyone linked with a move away. Mustafi doesn't look like he's leaving. Ozil doesn't look like he's leaving. Mkhitaryan doesn't look like he's leaving. So there's no real funds coming in from anywhere else. So to spend this type of money on him now, to not use him, seems absolutely strange. It's so odd that we would allow that to happen, especially in a position where we're desperate to bring in some sort of backup. Now, someone actually said to me today on Twitter that Kieran Tierney can also play at centre-back. Now, great, he's got a bit of versatility about him, and I've checked it, and he did play a few times there for Scotland. But the only conclusion I can come from that is because Robertson is so good there, and you have to try and squeeze the quality that Tierney has. I mean, I'd personally push him one of an up to the left wing, but I suppose Ryan Fraser's playing in that position, and you have to squeeze him in somewhere, and maybe it's at centre-back. But I can't see us bringing him in saying, oh yeah, we've signed Kieran Tierney, great, he can cover at centre-back. For me, Monreal's a better cover at centre-back if you want to bring in someone from a different position. But it makes absolutely zero sense that we would not spend any more money on a centre-back if we're going to be staying out on loan. Maybe they're pinning their hopes on Mavropanos and Holding coming good a lot again this season. Holding was a big loss when he got injured, and maybe Mavropanos can come good this season. But I think it's a lot to ask when we clearly identified the centre of defence was a really weak area. Koscielny's on the way out in terms of his age. He can't play the amount of games that he would need to if we wanted someone of his quality to be playing every week. We just don't have that. And so to put our hopes on someone to come in next year, by that time it could be too late. And I really hope it isn't. And all eyes will be on the Frenchman if he's playing for Saint-Etienne, to how he's developing. I mean, if he has an absolute stinker of a season, my God, what a risk that was. But it's very strange that we would do that and spend that amount of money for a player that we're not going to supposedly use. But that's my thoughts. Tell me what you think. Should Lucas Torreira be sold to recoup a massive amount of money that we could get to spend on other players? I personally think that we should be going nowhere near that sort of deal, but let me know what you think. And William Saliba, are you happy with the signing, but are you happy with it that we're spending a lot of our money and then seeing the guy go out on loan again for another year? I personally understand that it's probably worth it to get this guy, because I think he's going to be brilliant. But is it worth it to spend that much money knowing that we've got a restricted budget? Or does that tell you that maybe we've got a lot more money than the club's actually, or the media is actually telling us we do? I hope you've enjoyed the first episode of The Royal Reaction. Let me know what you think of it as a show. Do you enjoy it? Is it a nice little addition to the normal running of shows that we've got going on the moment? I think I want to do a tactical breakdown on Zaha. I think it'll be interesting to see what he does. If there's still somehow we manage to get some money in from sales, to see if it happens, maybe it'd be good to do a tactical breakdown on him. But let me know if I should be doing any more tactical breakdowns than anyone else. And we'll see you again very, very soon. And as always, up the Arsenal.